And welcome to another episode of the beautiful, beautiful Just Call It podcast. Yeah! The best podcast in the world. You have to admit it. Every time I put an episode out, just that flavor, that conversation just comes flowing out of my mouth, man. Now, if you're listening to the podcast, I hope you guys are in for a special treat because it's been a while since I put out a podcast as usual, and I got a lot to catch up to, man. So this one's going to be a big, long podcast. It's going to be long, bro. You know? I'm just kidding. I first and foremost want to thank everybody who's been downloading the podcast since, I haven't been put a podcast for a while, probably for about a month or so. And I want to thank a big thank you to Frankfurt, Manhattan, Germany. Thank you so much for the downloads. I got a ton of downloads. Somebody went through my podcast and downloaded literally every episode. So thank you. I have no clue who you are, but I really appreciate that. Thank you, man. And I just want to say thank you because I really appreciate the downloads. So thank you, everybody. Like and subscribe as always. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you can catch me on YouTube. I have a couple of videos there, just entertaining videos. I also put out little shorts and stuff like that of the podcast and things I do on a daily basis, so go check that out. Also got the Facebook fan page, so if you guys want to go on Facebook, just type in Just Call It Podcast. Like the page, I put some stuff out, some paintings, things like that. But yeah, man, it's been crazy, life's been good. I can't complain, hanging in there, doing my thing. Hopefully some good things coming my way, personally. And so hopefully, some things will turn around for me as always. So, trying to make always life better, man. That's all you can really do in life is make things better for yourself. Make things better for everyone around you, your family. Some good news coming along the way, so hopefully some great things happen. Knock on wood, seriously, that everything turns out okay. Because sometimes, man, things aren't great, man. Things can turn on you in a dime all of a sudden. And that's kind of what happened with the Trump shooting. I can't believe that happened, man. I know it was a while back down that they were talking about it, and a lot has happened, and, everyone has moved, or at least he's moved on. Trump has moved on. Obviously, he had his rally and everything, and obviously the shooting was a big boost for that. I'm sure a lot of viewers want to see his perspective and how he came out of it. What stories have you ever heard of a president making it out of a shooting, alive and live to tell the tale? Most history has shown us most people are successful in their assassinations and live to tell the tale, But we don't know necessarily what the presidents in our past have gone through or what was close calls. Are they even worthy of being told on the news? Supposedly, from what I understand, or what I've heard, is that Trump's had a couple close calls in the past where his, people have been on the lookout or alert about something, so they're kind of ahead of the game and get him out of there sooner than later. But I guess for this one, this shooter basically got by. This guy supposedly was on Twitter and, making out some threats to Trump, even commenting on him, on his posts, on Trump's posts, and posting bad shit. Guy literally made it on top of a roof with some ladders. Fucking took a shot, man. Took a couple shots. Killed the firefighter, rest in peace. Very sad. and you know, clipped Trump. To be honest, I know there's a lot of people talking shit about what happened, whether he should have got killed or wish the bullet was bigger. A lot of people are saying a lot of shit. Those are jokes, man. In reality, the guy doesn't deserve to be killed, for doing what he's doing. Every side has their day. The Republicans at one point had their side for many years. So do the Democrats. Now it's time the Republicans are winning it back. It's just a back and forth game. And it's kind of crazy that, 4 years Democrat, not too long ago was Republican. And there's a lot of things going on where there's so many distractions on the news. Just so many perpetuated things that obviously are not good for people. It's not good for people that we went through that. And, we're seeing tons of shit on the news where people, they're still talking about the shooting. They're talking about, what's, the developments. They're talking about Biden dropping out. Now Biden's dropped out. Kamala Harris is in. He might take Joe Shapiro or Gavin Newsom, who knows. You have these crazy developments going on in the news. That just constantly things are flowing for this presidential election coming up, and it's only in 100 days from today, July 27th. That's literally 3 months and some change. And in 3 months, we're going to make a huge decision on whether or not Trump or Kamala Harris should be president. And honestly, man, it sucks that we only get two choices, It sucks that we only get two people to choose from to run our country. We don't get at least 2-3 other names. I mean, make the ballot a little bigger. Make it tough. Make it a close race, man. Don't leave it neck and neck with first and second. It's either first or nothing. Second place don't mean shit in this world. I mean, like, even if put Kennedy on the ballot, fucking don't let me write it in. You know what I'm saying? Supposedly Trump reached out to Kennedy to endorse him. That once he figures out that his race is over, that Kennedy should just endorse him. That Biden's not fit to run, and now that Kamala's in, who's Kennedy going to endorse once he loses? I really think that every time we do this every 4 years, it's always so intense. And the news knows that every 4 years, it's the most intense views the news are going to get. And then they spin it up. 24 hours, developing news of the shooting, or 24-hour news developing of Biden dropping out. What happened? Why did he drop out? Did someone tell him something? Did the doctors come up and tell him that he's not fit? Now he's saying that he's still going to be here for the finishing, last couple days of his fucking presidency. He's basically checked out at this point. So what do we do as a nation, Well, we turn on the news or we go to the movies, bro. If the news ain't kicking the shit that we want to hear, then we go to the movies and go watch Deadpool versus Wolverine or Bike Rider. You know what I'm saying? Fucking Trump got shot by a fucking shrimp, bro. I feel like this is like almost gonna be a conspiracy to live on. You know, if they don't explain good enough why this kid was the shooter, you know what I'm saying? Like, this guy's, how the fuck did this guy manage to do all this? You know, because, is it because, like, it's so crazy we're talking about how did this guy manage to do this, but not too long ago, you know, just yesterday, Mayo Zambada and Joaquin Guzman's son both got caught in New Mexico, not Texas, got caught in New Mexico when the plane landed in New Mexico, and the fucking federales got in, and Mexican government didn't even know this was in development. That's the crazy part. The Mexican government didn't even know this was taking place. And obviously the Mexican government is tripping because they're the ones who are going to have to pay the price with all the dismay, all the disruption between the cartels fighting for power now that the main guys are out of the way. And now all these factions are going to come in. This new blood's going to come in, and they're all going to fight for territory now in Mexico. And so Mexico, obviously, the government doesn't want this guy to go to prison just all of a sudden because he keeps things calm. You know, when you have a new faction of people coming up in Mexico, a new cartel, and you have still some type of, you know, Robin Hood, I guess, if you want to say Miles Zambada was just, you know, an old head, an OG, a guy who's been around for a long time, who has a lot of pull, he has a lot of political power, and he kept things in Mexico at somewhat, you know, okay between the other cartels, as in, you know, public executions, and public people getting killed, basically. But now that this guy's gone, Miles Zambada is in jail. Joaquin, you know, El Chapo's been in jail for a while. Two of his sons out of the four are in jail now. You're gonna have a huge uproar of other cartels that have been sitting in the, you know, on the sidelines, watching these things develop. And so now they're looking at it as, this is our time to strike. This is our time to push our product. This is our time to push our territories, to fight, and, you know, and get things while things are rubbled down, especially in Sinaloa. Now, are these factions going to be okay without these guys? Were these things already well established without these guys? Were these guys already, like, you know, on their way out, like with retirement? I really don't know. But what I feel like, I think these guys still had some type of power. So you're going to see a lot of problems. And that's why the Mexican government didn't know about this. Otherwise, they would have never let this happen. Because this guy actually kept things in check in a way for the Mexican government without them physically, you know, sending armies and shit like that in. So obviously, you know, the American government operated in their own behalf. But this isn't the first time that this happened, but not is it that it's common. This is one of the biggest cartel bosses, worth $10 billion. $10 billion, not 10 million, $10 billion. There's 100 million in every billion. You know, this is just fucking a lot of money, dude. This guy owned so much, and all of a sudden he's in jail. And this is one of his biggest fears. This guy's never stepped in prison ever in his life. These are things he physically has talked about, and people do know of these conversations, that this guy has, one of his biggest fears was to go to an American prison. So now that you have, you know, Miles Zambada was a guy who literally came from nothing, you know, in the mountains, just dirt poor, slowly rising up. And now all of a sudden He's one of the biggest kingpins in jail now, but was a couple days ago the most feared guy, and related to the shooter of Trump, which is obviously a totally different dynamic. But in our society, supposedly a nobody, some guy who was bullied, a nerd, picked up a gun and did one of the most biggest things in the world. It just goes to show you that you can be nothing and become somebody. But if you're going to be somebody, you can make a lot of ways of doing it bad. You know? Miles Mbala was just a young kid rising his way up and somehow made it to the seat of power. It's not like he foresaw that as a kid and said, I'm going to be the biggest cartel leader in the world. Or neither did that kid who shot Trump. Didn't say, I'm going to be the best assassin when he was 5 years old. You know? Or try to be, at least. That guy wasn't successful, you know? These two people, even though, like, you know, they're just the news of our day, and I'm just relating them to each other. How is it that these two individuals who literally came from nothing become the main thing that we talk about today? It's all over the news. And, you know, that shooter who shot Trump's going to be known forever. If Trump's reelected, he's going to talk about it all the time. Miles Mbala is one of the biggest trophies the CIA or the DEA has ever caught. And now all of a sudden, he's going to be caught into becoming the world's most prominent drug dealer in jail. So this is my prediction for kind of like how the things are going to roll from here on. Let's start with Trump and Biden and Kamala Harris. Biden's already out. So basically, he's just going to be on a bunch of commercials at this point. He might even start painting just like George Bush. Like George Bush is like, he started painting as if he went into dementia early. Like, you know, George Bush probably still could have been way more better president than Biden. And he still is like coherent, you know. It's like George Bush knew that's like, dude, like, I'm not going to even try to fuck. Like, I'm not going to be these old guys. Like, he's seen it probably firsthand. These senile old guys sitting in these super nice leather fucking chairs in the White House. Like, these guys are in power. He's like, dude, I'm checking out, dude. I can't. I'm going to try to be a senator and still be young, dealing with these fucking old ass dudes. He's like, dude, hell no. I'm going to take my millions and I'm going to go paint paintings. And that's what Bush did. He's fucking living retired early. You know? Was a son of a president, was said to be, you know, a huge cokehead, whatever, party animal type of guy. And even if he was, man, he's sitting pretty now. But yeah, Biden's going to just do a bunch of commercials now, and he's literally just going to paint. All right? Maybe Jill Biden might do some more stuff, because she's going to be like, now that my husband's out of the limelight, I can step up. Now for Trump, with Kamala Harris now being in, I really don't think Trump has a chance of winning. And that's just my personal opinion. My personal opinion, not yours. And I'm not trying to speak up. I could be wrong. But these are my predictions of how things are going to go down. And I personally think that with Kamala Harris in, and just how the world is right now, I really think that Kamala is going to win and Trump's going to lose now. Right? Trump is good, but J.D. Vance, who the fuck is that guy? You know, he wrote Hillbilly Elegy, and that's kind of all I know about him. You know? So I really think that if Kamala chooses a good VP that people might know, I don't know about Joe Shapiro. I don't know who that guy is. He just kind of sounds like a nobody. Maybe if I Google him, I might find a bunch of shit about him, but I'm not. I'm not about to do that. So I have a feeling Trump's going to lose. And this will be the last time. But I think if Trump loses to Kamala, he's going to run again. I think if he lost to Biden, He's like, dude, I'm done. It's whatever, right? Because Biden, it was just like Biden, Democrats wanted that, blah, 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 blah. But now that Kamala's in, he's like, dude, I can't lose to a girl. So he's going to run again. That's what I think for Trump. I really think he might lose this one. Kamala is going to win. Now, what do I think about Kamala's presidency? Kamala is the type of lady who loves to dance in women's business suits on a Sunday brunch. She's that type of lady. She will have a mimosa on the side of a Sunday brunch with her girls and start dancing with suits on, And it's like not that real crazy freak, like, damn, she can move, but it's like she got no rhythm. It's like a basketball player, like a WNBA player dancing, just so tall, with heels on. Like, drop that anvil on me, It's like literally like a giant L just falling to the floor. I have nothing bad to say about Kamala or whatever. I mean, I don't really know what she did even during our presidency, to be honest, but I know that she knows a lot about law, which I like. You know what I'm saying? I like that shit. It's, it's a good thing for the world to have someone ready to fight with some law. But we're in a war right now, and I think Trump would be the better president, to be honest. There's a lot of war shit going down, and I personally don't think Kamala's ideas, just judging how she might be as a person dealing with some war shit, I think she would get very diplomatic. And diplomatic is cool, but you can't get too, like, we're not going to ever pull out our guns. You know what I'm saying? And that's just my personal opinion about the whole thing, man. Because for real, this shit's crazy, dude. That's my prediction on the whole governments of America right now. And that's just how I think that's just how it's going to roll.